Opening his eyes in a luxurious mansion, he suddenly realized that he had accidentally transmigrated into a game, his favorite academy game. But he wasn't the protagonist. He was Malatesta Wise, a corrupt and brutal aristocrat. With a perverted smile and a lecherous gaze, he was the literal definition of a villain, serving as a stepping stone for the male lead. After synchronizing his memories, he suddenly remembered that before long he would be stripped of all his power, then become a henchman for the Demon King, eventually get caught by the Academy, and be executed in disgrace. To change his fate, he didn't choose to become a good student in the eyes of others, nor did he give a damn about gaining favor with the protagonists. He only focused on raising his stats, grinding for strength, and searching for untapped abilities from the original game. But things got more and more complicated. Because of that, how the hell did the female lead want to become his fiancée? First, before getting into the manga content, guys, please give me a subscribe for my new channel. I'll be doing rom-com manga on this channel soon. At this moment, in a large and magnificent villa, deep within the dark hallways, a girl was gasping for breath in agony. The girl knelt on the ground, and standing behind her was Wise, holding a whip in his hand. He licked his lips and then looked at the girl in a perverted way. But suddenly Wise's eyes snapped awake. Both of Wise's eyes were filled with shock at the strange sight before him. He had now been reborn into this body. Wise froze, looking at the maid and wondering, "Who is this? Where is this?" He was completely dazed and incredulous. "What is happening?" Wise pondered. "Wasn't I just sitting there playing games? Why is there suddenly a girl tied up like this in front of me?" At that moment, he suddenly realized something. The maid turned around and spoke in a weak voice. "Master Wise, is something wrong?" The moment he saw that face, he couldn't help but exclaim, "What a beautiful girl." Wise frowned and wondered to himself, "Wait a minute. I feel like I've seen her somewhere before." Furthermore, Wise then glanced at the nearby mirror. Seeing a completely unfamiliar face, Wise panicked and screamed at the top of his lungs. "Wait just a second. Could it be that I have been reincarnated as that wicked and cruel, villainous noble Wise?" He clutched his face in shock. There was no mistake. This is the antagonist from the game Noble's Duty, the one and only Wise Vincent. Then Wise recalled the details of that game. Noble's Duty. It was a fantasy game that he had cleared multiple times. And this Wise fellow was the game's villain, the one who hindered the protagonist throughout every stage. He was the lowest scum of this world, relying on his power to constantly torment the weak. After being defeated by the protagonist, this Wise character lost everything and became a minion of the Demon King. His end was being used, and dying as nothing more than a human shield. At this point, Wise turned to look at the maid. "Then this tied-up girl must be the maid Lilith Scarlet," he thought to himself. Thinking back, this guy really had a habit of tormenting Lilith, didn't he? Wise grit his teeth and cursed. "What total scum. How could you do something like that? To such a cute girl? I have to untie her." He wondered skeptically, but wait, would changing my behavior so suddenly look suspicious? Without further hesitation, Wise approached Lilith. "I think that's enough for today, Lilith. Your neck." Seeing her fear of him, he felt a deep sense of pity. Poor thing, she's trembling like this. Should I try using it? Wise thought. He quickly raised his hands and cast a recovery spell. Instantly, the wounds on Lilith's neck vanished. There we go. Recovery magic. This was secretly added to the game by the publisher. In fact, it can be used normally, even if the level is low. Luckily, I discovered it in a strategy book. She looked at him with an expression of disbelief, seeing that Wise quickly smoothed things over. "Don't get the wrong idea. I just wanted to test out a recovery spell. It's not like I did it for you or anything like that." After hearing this, she remained silent for a moment. Then, with teary eyes, she said, "Thank you very much, Wise-sama." Lilith sobbed, "You surprised me. I didn't expect you to be able to use recovery magic." He thought to himself, even though it was all that guy Wise's fault, she is still thanking me. Could she have been bullied to the point of being this submissive? Like this? The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Wise's face darkened, then he softly called out to Lilith. With a guilty expression, he expressed, "I apologize for what I have done in the past. I won't be like that anymore." Witnessing this unusual state, she froze in place. A short while later, in the dining room, a large table was spread with food. This man was the butler of the Vincent family. In his heart, he was extremely anxious. The young master would probably complain it's bad and throw the plate on the floor, just like always. Just then, Wise called out to Javis. Startled, he replied, "Yes." He glanced over and said, "I was wrong before treating food like it was garbage." Wise complimented him softly. "Today's seasoning is excellent, too." Hearing these words, Javis was completely shocked. "Young master!" Unable to contain his excitement, he shouted out, "Such elegant words, I am truly honored." All the servants were deeply moved. "Wise-sama? How wonderful!" Seeing that ridiculous scene, he was confused. It's just a meal, yet they're overreacting like this. But Wise thought to himself, do these people think Wise has finally grown up? They are so moved that they don't even realize the person inside is someone else. He rubbed his chin in contemplation. It seems the original Wise was even more of a scumbag than I thought, Wise told himself. But from now on, I will not make that poor girl sad anymore. And so he went back to his room to change. And first I have to throw this thing away. Holding the whip in his hand, Wise headed straight for the incinerator with a determined look. I need to change even more. As a noble, I must attend a prestigious academy. When I turn 15, the academy entrance exam is only 2 years away. After the previous battle against the protagonist in the trial, Wise's reputation began to collapse. Negative opinions surrounding him began to increase. However, if I don't lose there, then the future will change. In that case, there's no other way but to dive right into it. At this point, he threw the fire into the furnace. Then he turned and walked away. Even if I have to give it my all, I must avoid that ending at all costs. The next day arrived quickly. Wise was panting, his face drenched in sweat. He was resting on a tree root when someone from afar called out loudly, Wise. This cool-looking girl was the adventurer, S-rank Mu Avitas. Are you being serious? He scratched his head and stood up. I am, but I don't think I can move anymore. Can I rest for a bit? She immediately put on an expressionless face. Understood, rest well then. If you want to be a laughingstock from the very start, then go ahead and try that. Hearing that, Wise smiled awkwardly and looked aside. I used the family's connections to invite an elite to teach me. Mew stood by observing. What is this? Bend your knees, lift your arm. Keep your posture correct. Mu Avitas was originally supposed to appear near the end of the game and was considered the strongest swordsman in the royal capital. He recalled the previous promise. Just ignore my noble status and train me as strictly as possible, yeah. It's true that I said those words. Looking at her amused face, Wise judged, but this woman clearly has sadistic tendencies. During an exhausting training session, Lilith ran up and called out, Wise-sama, here is the item you requested. He immediately took it. Thank you, Lilith. She wondered, what do these characters mean? Wise put it on his head. This thing it means. He spoke with utmost seriousness. I will do my best until I am squeezed dry. Noblesse Oblige is known as a death game. It is exceptionally difficult, so much so that you have to play it over and over again to pass. If I am negligent in my preparations, I'll be expelled immediately or I might even die. Not a single second can be wasted. But the problem is I have never trained properly before, even in my previous life. After a while of training, Wise was panting. To put it bluntly, he was tired as hell. But physical improvement is fundamental and very important for learning swordsmanship and magic effectively. He continued to swing his sword. I started by practicing forms, then ran relentlessly to improve my endurance, and finally moved on to grueling muscle training. From morning to night, continuously without rest over and over. One day, the moon was high overhead during dinner. Javis spoke up. As requested by the young master, this is a menu full of protein. Wise turned to reply, sorry for giving you extra work. 2 weeks since the training began. Wounds on the body can be healed with recovery magic. But to forge a body, diet is also very important. He thanked him silently. Thanks to Javis' support, I've been able to hold out until now. With this, Wise continued his training. 3 weeks since the training began. It was so horrific that a single day felt like a month passing by. He thought to himself. But now, by the time I realized it, the sun had already set. And finally, once I had grown accustomed to the strength training, I invited a magic teacher to come over. Wise gave a forced smile, lamenting to himself about being suffocated by Mu-sensei's natural and brutal side, hoping that this time the teacher would be a bit kinder. Javis spoke up, inviting them in. Immediately, a figure stepped inside. Not knowing what kind of teacher would appear, the person spoke. Nice to meet you, young Wise Rice. And that person was none other than Mu Avitas. I am Mu Avitas. As soon as he saw her, he collapsed, kneeling on the ground. You again? Seeing that reaction, she looked visibly annoyed. I am not only a master of the sword, but of magic as well. Good to see you again, Wise Rice. Does it have to be a vicious cycle like this? Wise whispered to the butler. Javis, I asked you to hire a good teacher. He replied, she is like a genius magic swordsman. She can use 2 out of the 4 magic attributes. Did you know that? Mew frowned. Do you want me to be gentle? He flinched, startled. How could she hear that? She continued. In that case, I will teach you magic. In a gentle manner. Wise found it hard to believe. Mew gave a friendly smile. Of course, leave it to me. I am a professional after all. And a moment later, contrary to her words, she was even more strict. Open your eyes, channel more mana. Wise wondered where her kindness had vanished to. Isn't this even more horrific than sword training? Mew continued to bark orders. Hold it like that for 2 more hours. To use magic, you need mana. The only way to increase Your mana is through continuous training. She lectured him relentlessly. So repeat this every day, until you lose consciousness. Wise wept, screaming that it was impossible, and finally he collapsed from exhaustion and passed out. From that day onward, alongside basic magic training, swordsmanship practice with a wooden sword also began. Wise was constantly struck by Mew. His body was full of weaknesses and openings, and during times like these, Lilith was always there to provide timely recovery. She said cheerfully, "I will support you, young master, with recovery magic, so please do your best." Her words warmed his heart. "You're a huge help, thank you so much, Lilith." Mew stood nearby and growled. "I see, I've got myself a fine punching bag." After a while, Wise lay on the ground gasping for air. Catching his breath, he thought, "It's strange, though." He wondered to himself, "Why is someone as lazy as me working so hard now? In my previous life, I was no different from a living corpse. I always ran away immediately. I always gave up and surrendered to the things I had to face." A stream of whys flooded his mind. How can I be this diligent? What is the difference between my past life and now? 2 months after the training course began, Wise's body had also undergone some changes. While he was sitting and drying his hair, Mew walked over and patted his head. This surprised him greatly. She praised him with a proud look on her face. "You managed to hold out for 2 hours. That's some great progress." Wise pointed his finger skeptically. "So this is what you call teaching gently?" Mew replied, "Exactly. Every time you do well, I'll reward you with a pat." He frowned and grumbled. "I feel like the ratio between the carrot and the stick is out of balance." Suddenly, her face darkened. "Not really." Seeing her expression, Wise was a bit puzzled. Right then, Lilith arrived. She held a container and said, "Wise-sama, I brought you lunch." He stared at her lovely face. Mew smiled happily. "I'm only the one holding the stick, but it seems you've received plenty of carrots. From others," she explained. "Don't forget the role of the carrots that have supported you, allowing you to give it your all." Wise glanced at Lilith's bewildered face and gradually began to understand everything. "I understand now. Every question has been answered. The reason I can try my best is thanks to everyone." He reflected to himself. Lilith, who is always by my side supporting me. Avis, who ensures I have the best meals. And Mew-sensei, who teaches me how to grow stronger. Wise ate while reflecting on his feelings. Without everyone's help, I wouldn't have been able to come this far. The old Wise and the me from my previous life only ever thought about themselves. That was why no one helped me and no one scolded me. What I truly need is a kind of love that is woven with both sweetness and bitterness. At this point, Wise made a firm resolution. Then I will no longer live just for myself. He whispered in his mind, "I don't want to die. I don't want to be destroyed. That has been my only goal until now. But from this moment on, so that I don't make Lilith and the others who help me feel sad, and to show everyone how strong I can be." Wise was filled with absolute determination. For myself and for everyone. I will escape this worst of fates. But a few minutes later, as the exhausting training drained him, his face twisted in agony. Mew stood above him and shouted, "The next goal is 4 hours, keep going until you die." Hearing this, Wise couldn't help but cry out. Even so, this is still freaking hard. Out on the streets among the grand houses, Wise, Vincent and Lilith walked alongside a yawning Mew-sensei. He pondered silently. Is this supposed to be a fun date? With 2 girls in a dangerous town. This place was the town of Lickbelt. In the game, this was the very first location where the protagonist set foot. Suddenly, a sound caught his attention. "Don't mess with me, you're cheating." Walking along the street, Wise Vincent heard various noises. "Damn it, you bastard, if you're so tough, come and get me," he thought to himself. Security in this place hasn't improved even a little bit. He turned and asked Mew-sensei, "By the way, Mew-sensei, who is my opponent?" Wise. Vincent reanalyzed what was happening. It had been 3 months since the training course began. Calculating the time, it fit perfectly. So I was assigned to come to this city to perform a real combat test. A real combat test? Did we hire someone or what? Surprisingly, as he finished speaking and looked over, he saw her smiling. Wise. Vincent broke into a sweat as he heard her say, "Oh, no need to worry. I'm planning to pick the most suitable opponent for you. Just wait and see." Lilith cheered, "Good luck, Wise-sama." He felt uneasy. At this rate, he was doomed. A group of people was staring at them. "Look at that crowd." 2 thugs gossiped. "That woman over there is really sexy." "I personally like that petite girl. She's exactly my type." "That brat." How arrogant of him to bring women to a place like this. Their words reached Wise Vincent's ears. He was worried for them. "You guys should watch your mouths. This woman slashes people like it's a daily snack." Lickbelt Town was considered the worst of places, a literal den of scoundrels. Even with Mew-sensei around, I still have to protect Lilith at all costs. Wise Vincent clenched his fist, showing clear determination. She finished observing and cursed, "What a bunch of nuisances," Mew-sensei said while yawning. Ignore them, Lilith. Those guys aren't worth our time. He turned to see her smiling. Yes, that's right. Wise. Vincent shuddered as he sensed it. Just now it felt like Lilith was radiating pure bloodlust, didn't it? Or was it just my imagination? After that, the three of them went to the Adventurers Guild together. Unfortunately, Wise Vincent was blocked by an aggressive group of people. Get out of here, brat! He recognized them. These guys were the Boudin brothers, the targets for this test. He recalled the words Mew-sensei had forced upon him. Kidnapping, robbery, harming people, slave trading. Truly disgusting. Thanks to bribery and those actions, everything was overlooked with a blind eye. But the guards who took those bribes have all been caught now. Now we just need to take care of those three. With bastards like them, there's no need to hold back. They are worthy opponents for real combat, aren't they? Right, Wise. He had replied cheerfully, yes, let's head back. She had continued, listen, Wise. You have strong determination, but you lack real combat experience. Mew-sensei's eyes had turned serious. She had continued her teaching. Real combat is something you'll have to face sooner or later, so you might as well experience it as soon as possible. If you miss this chance, then next time, I might not be there watching over you from behind. You might have to face your first real fight all alone. Many have died because of a lack of experience. Mew-sensei smiled, but I'm here now. If anything goes wrong, I'll come to save you. Wise Vincent was touched. Mew-sensei was truly a reliable person. She was there to cheer him on for his first real battle. Go forward with confidence. End of flashback. Now Wise Vincent was screaming, looking for her. Where the hell are you hiding, Mew? He couldn't help but curse her in his heart. Damn it, that woman tricked me. What the hell was go forward with confidence? Why on earth did she and Lilith disappear? I only picked a fight with these guys because she encouraged me. Damn it, what should I do now? There's no way I can retreat out of fear. The only way is to steel myself. The thug demanded into the alley. But Wise Vincent remembered the mission. The goal was to cut off one of their arms. He walked while calculating his strategy. I don't need to finish them off anyway. 3 against 1? I might end up blind or crippled. Now they want me to go solo. And I don't even know if I can handle just one of them. Furthermore, these guys might look like lowlifes, but in reality they are actually quite skilled. Once we step into the alley, the battle will begin whether I like it or not. I need to come up with a plan first. Come to think of it, before I picked a fight with these guys, he recalled the words of Mew-sensei. Just do as I taught you. As long as you can do that, you'll be fine. She and Lilith stood watching from the doorway, following every step of Wise Vincent. Recall the memories of what Mew-sensei taught me. Lilith exposed the truth. I can't believe you even tricked me, Mew-sensei. You really are heartless. She replied, well, if I didn't say that, then where would he get his motivation from? Mew-sensei drank continuously until she was drunk, then she lectured. Especially if you keep thinking that someone will save you. Then what's the point of training? But don't worry. If things get dangerous, I will come to the rescue. After saying that, Mew-sensei collapsed, straight onto the table. Lilith went upstairs, walking along hearing people gossip about the two of them. Is she a girl from this town? She was surrounded by them just as expected. This one looks tasty. So true, delicious timing. We're the gang that rules this area. We're feeling a bit lonely tonight, and things have been a bit tough lately. They whispered into the girl's ears. Suddenly, drops of blood fell, forming a puddle. The two in front suddenly turned their heads, only to see their comrade, screaming in pain from losing an arm. They were shocked. While Wise Vincent had just finished his pose. Make your move first, Wise. He remembered what he had learned from Mew-sensei. The most important thing in real combat is to seize the enemy's opening. The first strike will catch the opponent off guard, thereby stripping them of their ability to defend. Even a seasoned mage will meet their ancestors. If hit before they can cast, a magic shield. A martial arts master will also be finished. If their neck is snapped before they can do anything, in short, just strike first. Now Wise Vincent is putting it into practice in reality. He began to unleash moves according to the instructions given by her. I've never made decisions for myself before. I always assumed I would deal with things tomorrow, but now time doesn't solve anything. He clenched his sword in his mouth to the enemy's shock, and Wise Vincent lunged forward, beating the thugs to a pulp. But now time doesn't solve anything. If what I need to do is clear, then I no longer need to hesitate. I will change from my lazy self of the past. Finally, the fight came to an end. He gasped for air. It's done. Wise. Vincent analyzed, if I had walked into the alley, they would have unleashed their mana and enhanced their defensive strength. And if all three were ready for battle, the chance of victory would have been a flat 0. I won because I struck first. Mew-sensei walked over to praise him. A perfect score. That's what I'd like to say. But you only get 70 points. She crossed her arms. If it were me, I would have cut off an arm back at the Adventurers Guild. Your approach was way too passive. Lilith clapped her hands. Just as expected from Sama. To me, you get 200 points. He called out to her. Lilith Mew-sensei! Good grief, why did you two suddenly disappear? She gave a forced smile. Sorry. He sighed helplessly. Seriously. Beside him, Lilith clasped her hands in admiration. But wise Vincent noticed something. Wait, Lilith. Why is there blood on your hand? She replied, You're just imagining things. Cynthia sat reading the newspaper. More than 20 members of a notorious gang have been arrested. Although there were no fatalities, the bandits were beaten so badly they couldn't even speak. She stared intently, lost in thought. The notorious Boudin brothers have been caught thanks to the assistance of Wise Vincent. Cynthia rested her chin on her hand. That guy Wise, huh? Elsewhere, he was also reading the news. Bandit gang, what's that about? Later, a letter of gratitude and a sum of money were sent to the family. Vincent Wise stood under a waterfall training. It has been 1 year and 6 months since the training began. Looking up at the waterfall, a large log was floating down. He had his eyes closed. Day after day, I continued the harsh training as usual. However, the days of fainting from exhaustion due to mana depletion, he opened his eyes wide. But with just one punch, Wise broke it into 2 pieces. Watching from above, she smiled with satisfaction at the sight. No longer occur. The silhouette of Mew holding a hammer appeared behind the wall while he was using the restroom. Moreover, I have become able to detect the enemy's presence. Behind the wall, his hand glowed. I can feel the mana flowing through my body, and I think I have made a lot of progress. In the evening, Andon asked, How is everything going? Wise Sama. Is the magic training going smoothly? He replied, Yeah, everything is fine, despite saying that he winced. I'm still struggling with Mew-sensei's Spartan style. Training sessions. There are 4 magical attributes, fire, water, wind, and earth. All 4 attributes appeared in his hand. To improve them all equally. Then Wise closed his eyes and lamented, To be honest, Mew-sensei is a real demon. He looked toward the door as he spoke. She might even be scarier than the Boudin brothers I encountered before. Suddenly, his eyes met Mew's gaze through the window. She smiled a devilish smile. He was now paralyzed with fear. Andon bowed. The reason Mew-sama does all this is probably because of young master's extraordinary talent. Actually, most people usually have only one single magic attribute. She stepped in from outside. She quickly grabbed his head. He continued to ramble on. Even an S-rank adventurer like Mew-sama can only use 2. However, Wise-sama, as he spoke to this point, he couldn't help but be amazed. Possesses all 4 attributes. That is a rare talent. Anin reminisced. If Wise-sama had kept his lazy habits from before, that talent might never have blossomed. Although in the past, I was also quite surprised by those hasty actions, but I never thought the young master would train so diligently to this extent. He opened his eyes. You have matured a lot, Wise-sama. But no one was there anymore. He had been dragged away by Mew. Outside, Wise was begging, I'm sorry. Don't hit me anymore. Lilith stood in front of him to block her. Stop that nonsense of hitting his nose with a wooden sword. She spoke up, Wise. Her eyes narrowed. You dared to secretly practice magic. Behind my back, didn't you? He cried out, I'm truly sorry. But since the question sounded strange, he let out a confused, huh. She continued, show me a little. He slowly gathered his power. 2 streams of light and dark elements appeared. Surprisingly, they were light and dark attributes. Besides the common attributes, you can even use special attributes like light and dark, she asked. Why did you hide this? Wise turned his head back. I wanted to wait until it was perfected before telling you. Actually, it's still not complete. She looked bewildered. Not complete? He replied, Yes, I still can't quite grasp it, but his gaze sharpened. If it's now, then I can. He slowly brought the 2 streams of light and dark together. Combining the light and dark attributes together, this is my original magic. Since both of you are here watching, then it's time for me to perfect it. An orb carrying light and dark energy, it appeared before the astonished eyes of the 2 of them. This is the result of my efforts over the past 1.5 years. The sky quickly brightened and then turned into late night. In the front yard, several guests stepped inside. Soon it was packed with nobles. Wise took a long, deep breath. Lily reproached, Wise-sama, you stayed up late again, didn't you? He felt a bit guilty. Sorry. A yawn shouldn't exist in a place like this. Right, she asked worriedly. Or are you still feeling tired from yesterday? He reassured her, no, it's not because of that. After that, my original magic was finally perfected. A magic circle was drawn around him. Recovery magic, combining light element sunshine and dark element night dew poison magic together. To merge them, it creates a dual attribute magic night dew healing. It allows for the recovery of all allies within a certain radius, while simultaneously dealing continuous curse damage to anything identified as an enemy. He lay flat on his back facing the sky. Even though I've mastered this technique, mana consumption is absolutely insane. That's why I passed out right then and there. But the mana consumption rate is just crazy. Wise winced. I need to train even more to increase my mana capacity. Lilith looked over at him. In that case, Wise-sama, she raised her hand in a cheering gesture to lift his spirits. I'll go prepare some strong wine. Before he could speak, she dashed off as fast as a ninja. He didn't have time to stop her. Hey, wait! Seeing her glide past the guests as fast as a phantom, he marveled those movements are as agile as an assassin's. I've heard that in the lore the Wise family has secret bodyguards. Thinking that he shook his head. Haha, probably not. Suddenly a woman's voice from behind called his name. Wise! He turned his head around. A beautiful woman was standing in front of him. He was surprised. Countess Cynthia Violetta. She looked at him without saying a word. But Wise thought to himself, her hair is silky and stunningly beautiful, and her red eyes are brilliant. No matter how you look at her, she is a beauty. There is no doubt about it. She is the heroine of the game, Cynthia Violetta. She spoke up. Wise, it's been a long time. She flashed a mocking smile. What's wrong? You look like you've just crushed a goblin into a pile of mushy mud. Hearing that, he froze in shock. Wise's hands were trembling. That's right. I Wise am the character hated by everyone. Sweat poured down his face. Among them, Cynthia is the one who hates Wise the most in the storyline, and the person who put 10 holes in my body is none other than her. Seeing him silent and not answering, Cynthia grew irritated. Meanwhile, he was thinking, as a member of the Vincent family, I have to be here. I really should have avoided joining these gatherings with these people. Who would have thought I'd run into Cynthia before school even starts? Stay calm, school hasn't started yet. I haven't done anything to make Cynthia hate me yet. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through his head. These were memories returning. Memories of the previous Wise. He gasped, Huh! Wise's face contorted more and more. What on earth was I doing? I can't remember it clearly. Suddenly, his eyes widened. An image of him covering Cynthia's mouth appeared. She leaned in close to his face. I haven't forgotten what happened. Got it. Using your authority to force me into your room. And then using those filthy hands to try those depraved things with me. Her eyes were full of killing intent, as if looking at a dead man. You trash noble. She looked at him with contempt. How can you have the audacity to show your face here? He thought to himself, this is the absolute worst. Look at the look in her eyes. Look at what that bastard Wise did to me. She finds me so repulsive that she looks like she could kill me right now. He gritted his teeth. If it's come to this, he bowed 90 degrees. The only way now is to give a sincere apology. I am truly sorry, Lady Cynthia. Wise's words drew everyone's attention. It's all my fault. For such actions that defiled a noble's honor, I am deeply regretful. He fell silent. I'm certain I won't be forgiven, though. She looked at him and remained silent. Cynthia was not the type of person to be cruel enough to punish someone who was sincerely repenting. She spoke up, I understand. I never thought someone like you would bow your head before others. He looked up and offered a smile, looking at Cynthia as she twirled her hair, even if it's just a little. I think she has calmed down now. I would be very grateful. If this helps me avoid a tragic end, even by a small margin, this is all I can do for now. I should find the right moment to slip away. He thought to himself, to be honest, I wanted to get closer to Cynthia, the one I liked in the original work. An image of the two contrasting figures appeared. But Cynthia and I are nothing but darkness and light, forever opposite, like the hero who flew too close to the sun. Though a noble, I grew up in disgrace. If I approach such a prestigious lady, the outcome won't be good. It's a pity, but I have to give up. Suddenly, someone grabbed his hand. Cynthia had grabbed Wise's hand. Their eyes met. Lilith, who was holding the wine, walked back only to see the two of them holding hands. She spoke, Wise Vincent. She looked at him. If you don't mind, would you dance with me? The music filled the air. At that moment, it was as if only the three of them existed. Both he and Lilith let out a surprised, huh, simultaneously. But each had a different expression. Now the two were sitting and drinking tea together. Cynthia remarked, the weather is lovely, isn't it? Two birds were chirping. The small birds chirped as Wise stammered in response. Ah, yes, the birds sing beautifully, don't they? After those words, the space fell back into an atmosphere of awkwardness. He rested his head on his hand. Why was Cynthia at his house? But going back to the previous night, it all started on that evening. She spoke, if you don't mind, would you dance with me? And just like that, the two held hands and danced together. I happened to run into the game's heroine, Cynthia, and somehow I ended up being invited to dance with her. Seeing him like that, she teased, you look quite flustered. Cynthia smiled with a slight blush. Actually, I know everything about how you've changed. Somehow, it seemed Cynthia knew that I had been training every day to prepare for the academy. It appeared she had heard some rumors within noble circles. Her gaze turned sharp. Because of that, You said you didn't remember what happened that day. Didn't you? He was startled by her words. Yes, Wise recalled. Was she talking about that attempted assault incident? He tried to offer a vague defense. Yes, regarding that matter. I don't know how to apologize enough. Suddenly a pull took him by surprise. Yes, Cynthia made a rather intimate move. Being at this distance made him blush. She teased, and what about me? Because of that. Did you also forget that you once said you liked me? Hearing that he became shy and stammered, "Eh, what?" She turned her head away. She said, "Ara, the dance is over, isn't it?" With that, Cynthia walked away. Well then, see you again later. Wise watched her go with sparkling eyes. After saying her piece, Cynthia simply left, leaving only my heart in a state of confusion. But the story didn't end there. Wise's father, Ageto Vincent, watched his son in silence. The next morning at his home, a letter arrived from his father. He screamed when he saw the content. What? A banquet with Cynthia at our house. Sweat beaded across his forehead. What the hell is going on? Is she actually coming here today too? A carriage appeared at the gate. Wise shouted, "Good grief! She's already at the gate," he urged. I don't know why, but just prepare to receive her. The servant obeyed. Yes, sir. Lilith looked at the letter on the table. A letter from the head of the family. There was also another letter. The scene shifts back to the present, and that is how things brought us to the present moment. He thought of Ageto Wise's father. What on earth was he thinking? He glanced over at Cynthia. Drinking tea with the person I like is indeed very pleasant, but I am not allowed to become close to her. Cynthia is supposed to end up with the protagonist, Alan. If I become close to her, the events between her and Alan won't happen. If that happens, the future will be changed. Wise gritted his teeth. An image of his duel with the protagonist appeared. Beating the protagonist in the entrance exam could also change the future. But stealing the heroine would completely destroy the storyline. From now on, he made a resolution. Being hated isn't great, but being liked is even worse. I must try to maintain a perfect distance somehow. Just then she spoke up, Umwise-sama. The things you said about loving me at first sight, have you forgotten them already? He remained silent as she continued. At that time it was truly too sudden. And the way you spoke was so arrogant, it left me very dissatisfied. But if you've apologized so sincerely then, Cynthia offered a beautiful smile. Her cheeks flushed pink. I'm not exactly opposed to it. The atmosphere suddenly went quiet. He panicked. Wait a minute. He saw her looking at him with sparkling eyes. This person has a noble appearance, but is she actually the easy-to-fall-in-love type? He was shocked to the core. I just thought being liked would be bad. And then this happens immediately. Wise recalled the plot. Thinking back in the story, the speed at which she falls for the protagonist is unimaginably fast. Oh, I'm doomed. Cynthia really is easy to win over. Once she's in love, she'll be incredibly loyal. Sweat is pouring all over his head. I have to find a way to lower her affection level immediately. Cynthia suddenly smiled. You don't have to do anything. Yet her affection level increases anyway. Your calm expression looks so truly adorable. He panicked. Oh crap, the affection level is rising on its own again. Suddenly, Lilith arrived, Wize-sama. He was startled and let out a shout. She smiled. Here is a refill. He stammered. Thank you, Lilith. Damn it, I accidentally let out such a pathetic voice. Wise looked over at her. But perhaps in this situation it actually makes sense. Hearing that disgusting voice, her affection should cool down immediately. But instead of decreasing, her affection surged even higher. Being in love really changes things so cute. Wise-sama is just too adorable. This woman is a lost cause, man. I have to do something right now. Lilith, standing nearby, seemed sad upon hearing that. So she decided to change the subject. Wise-sama, Cynthia asked. Have you heard the news from your father today? Wise looked dazed. Today's news? She smiled shyly. It's about our engagement. Today's banquet was meant for us to meet and get to know each other, even though it was an arrangement decided by the two heads of our families. But after talking with you today, I have decided to agree. He took a sip of tea, engagement. Meanwhile, in a forest, Ageto smiled sinisterly. Honestly, my son is such a handful. Two bodyguards listened to him speak. Wise takes after my looks. He's very handsome, but the boy is too slow. He already had the chance to dance with Lady Cynthia, who is already famous. He looked full of schemes. That's why I had to intervene immediately in the matter of the engagement between Wise and Lady Cynthia. But looking at that thug-like appearance, at that moment the three of them were playing in a sandbox. He laughed out loud. He must be very happy right now, isn't he? One of them spoke up. I assume you already have your son's consent. Correct, sir? Yes? Ageto shouted. I am his father. I only need to look at his face to know exactly what he wants. Stop talking and help me clear this tunnel. He could only nod, yes, sir. The sky had turned to late afternoon. Cynthia got into the carriage to head home. Wise looked at her with a happy smile. Before going back, he suddenly screamed inside. What the hell is this engagement, father? What my father arranged wasn't just a simple tea party, but a debut for the engagement between me and Cynthia. But this clearly wasn't a political marriage, for their own benefit. It seems the old man spoke with the head of the Violetta family, just to make his son happy. Parents deciding on marriage partners is not rare among the nobility. The image of a ghetto's sinister smile flashed in his mind. In the original plot, he almost never appeared. He didn't even ever come home, so he was an extremely mysterious person. An image of him smiling appeared, with his hands full of candy. Who would have thought he'd be someone who dotes on? His children Wise broke into a sweat. I think I understand the biggest reason. Why the original Wise became such a scoundrel. Suddenly, Lilith's dress caught his attention. Her eyes welled up. Wiza-sama! Tears streamed down her cheeks. Please, live happily with Lady Violetta. He let out a confused, huh. She just ran away like that. He stood there dazed. That was too fast. Wait, isn't something wrong with Lilith? From the gate, Nu gave an order. Today's mission is to chase after Lilith. She looked at him, wise. Do you know why Lily is crying? The boy whom Lily has always been beside and supported tirelessly for the past year and a half, only to have some lady suddenly appear and snatch him away, even if the engagement wasn't your choice. I won't allow you to pretend not to notice Lily's heartbreak over it. Bring Lily back to the mansion. If you fail, the punishment is death. He shouted and chased after her, Wise thought as he ran. Right, that's right. Lilith has always been by my side. Exactly, there's no way. She wouldn't be shocked by this engagement. She turned her head away. Because I still owe Lilith so much, he finally caught up to her. If it weren't for Lilith supporting me, then I would still be lazy and useless. He tried to reach out his hand to her. The person who helped me keep trying until now was all thanks to her. Lilith, wait. But just as he almost touched her, she ran even faster. Please just leave me alone, Wise panted. Are you kidding me? I've used almost all my strength chasing her. Why can't I catch up? He shouted. Lilith. The two of them jumped across the river. He shouted, please just listen to me. Lily stubbornly replied, it's fine, it's okay, Wiza-sama. There's no other way. After all, I'm just a maid, he replied. Lily, you're not just a maid. You are someone important to me. She jumped up onto a tree. He looked up. The engagement was my father's arbitrary decision. He jumped up after her. It's not what I wanted. The two of them leaped high into the air. And furthermore, Lilith, do you know about the attendant system at the academy? At the Royal Magic Academy, where I'll be enrolling, only high-ranking nobles are granted an exception to bring along a close personal attendant. But the two of them kept running up a mountain wall. Wise shouted louder, and I intend to bring Lilith with me, because I trust you the most. Hearing that Lilith suddenly froze in place, I'm the one he trusts the most. She turned around looking shy. Wiza-sama? You want me to be by your side, right? He was huffing and puffing, unable to say a word. She jumped onto the edge of the stairs. Lilith slid down the railing. You'll just keep chasing after me like this, won't you? Wise gasped for air. Ha! Ha! He screamed internally. Holy crap, I'm going to pass out. He shouted, that's exactly right. With tears in her eyes, she turned around and closed them. Lilith landed gracefully on the ground. I understand, if that's what you say. She smiled happily. Then from now on, I will be Wise-sama's lover. But he couldn't stop and skidded off the path. The sign said cliff. While he was hurtling down through the air, seeing him like that, she screamed, Wiza-sama! She closed her eyes, jumped after him, and hugged him tight. The two of them soared through the air. Lilith happily embraced Wise. Please rest assured, Wiza-sama. She looked at him passionately. I will do my best. I won't tell anyone about this relationship. This will be our secret. He opened his eyes. A secret affair. That's when she closed her eyes and gave him a kiss. And just like that, they both fell into the water with a splash. The water splashed up in the shape of a heart. In this way, I became engaged to Cynthia, and simultaneously started an affair with Lilith. The scene shifted to a remote village. The male lead was panting heavily. All right. Behind him was a boulder sliced clean in half. He smiled confidently. The entrance exam is just around the corner. Mu-sensei questioned Cynthia with a stern face. Lady Cynthia, do you really think you can raise your magical attributes? With just that much effort. Cynthia hung her head gloomily. No, Mu-sensei, I still need to improve more. Mu-sensei continued to criticize Lilith. Lower your magic power. The balance is inconsistent. The girl immediately replied, yes. Wise. Vincent silently glanced at the two beside him. He couldn't believe it and thought to himself, wait a second. Why is Cynthia here? Fiancé and mistress standing right next to each other? What a strange sight. He silently reminisced about the past. That day, due to many things happening, I ended up engaged to Cynthia, and at the same time began a secret affair with Lilith. Many parts of this are just too absurd. I still can't accept this reality myself. Everything is a mess now thanks to the old man. Wise Vincent remembered what his father once said. When I get back, let's have a heart-to-heart talk, with 100 children's songs. Mu-sensei's voice echoed in his ears. All right, that's enough for basic training. It's time for some actual combat practice. Lady Cynthia and Lilith, have you two ever sparred together before? Cynthia, drenched in sweat, replied, Of course we have. Lilith was just as excited as her. Yes, we have. Wise. Vincent turned back in surprise. Huh, Lilith? Really? He suddenly remembered something. Speaking of troubles, there was one more thing. Lilith and Cynthia had joined me in training to prepare for the entrance exam in a few months. It seemed both of them wanted to be trained by Mew-sensei. Cynthia, by nature, was already capable enough to pass the exam with ease. As for Lilith, I intended to take her along as a servant, so she didn't actually need to take the test. But Lilith wanted to support me academically as well, so I allowed her to take the entrance exam, along with me. Therefore, basically neither of them really had to train. Especially Cynthia. If someone who is already guaranteed to pass works even harder, she will become a formidable existence, even more so than in the original story. Wait. Mew-sensei tossed a sword toward Wise. Wise Vincent quickly caught the sword. She ordered him, You spar with Cynthia first. Wise. Vincent broke into a sweat while looking at Cynthia, while she looked back at him defiantly. Mew-sensei reminded them, Don't get so distracted staring at your fiancée that you go easy on her. Cynthia smiled brightly. Are you mesmerized? Lilith whispered her support. Good luck, master. Wise Vincent replied with a grim expression. I'm a little embarrassed. Mew-sensei spoke up. All right, you two stand facing each other. No start signal needed, got it? He suddenly turned around. Wait, what do you mean by? Cynthia suddenly lunged at him. Her move made his eyes widen in surprise. Wise Vincent quickly parried her strike. The two began a fierce exchange of blows. Gusts of wind seemed to swirl around their movements. Mew-sensei smiled and explained, I told you, didn't I? Right, Wise? The most important thing in actual combat is... Cynthia closed in on Wise Vincent and struck first. Isn't that right? Suddenly a rush of wind swept past him, and then no one was around, leaving him completely bewildered. She didn't just vanish, did she? Suddenly Wise Vincent froze. This is... He suddenly realized what was happening. He scrambled backward as fast as he could to dodge the blow. At that moment, Cynthia reappeared and attacked him. She was about to bring her sword down on him. Cynthia is an ice attribute user. Her special skill involves coating her feet in ice element, covering her legs entirely. This allows her to increase her movement speed, making her as fast as an ice skater. Cynthia's blade almost grazed his cheek. However, Wise Vincent gripped his sword tight and steeled his resolve. He moved out of his opponent's line of sight and launched a surprise attack. He began to counterattack her decisively. Her eyes widened in shock. Wise Vincent's sword came crashing down right on Cynthia's head. She clutched her head and burst into tears, leaving him in a panic. I'm so sorry. Mew-sensei quickly intervened. All right, stop right there. Wise. Vincent tried to explain himself. I only meant to give her a light tap. She criticized him sternly. Because you swung that wooden sword at Cynthia while she was moving at high speed. It turned into a devastating counterblow. Cynthia had tears streaming down her face, yet she still looked at him with determination, unwilling to accept defeat. I've sparred at home before, but this is the first time anyone has been able to so easily evade my attacks like that. Lilith raised her hand, casting a spell to heal Cynthia. She smiled and said, Thank you, Lilith. The girl replied, It was nothing. Mew-sensei suddenly wondered, Hey, Wise, how can you keep up with Cynthia's movements? She's incredibly fast. Wise Vincent looked confused and turned back to look at her. Suddenly, she brushed it off and walked away. Whether it's luck or not, we'll know after testing it. Next fight against Lilith. Lilith raised her wooden sword. Please guide me, Lord Wise. Wise Vincent immediately replied, Guide me too. He silently assessed the girl in front of him. No sparring with Lilith, a maid? Well, at first I thought Lilith was just an ordinary maid, but I've witnessed it many times now. Those movements were like those of an assassin. I have a feeling that if I let my guard down, I'll be pushing up daisies in no time. Suddenly, Wise Vincent froze. Gales of wind continuously swept past him. The movement of Lilith was so fast it made him break into a cold sweat. She gritted her teeth and closed in on him. He painfully blocked her attack. Suddenly, Wise Vincent lost sight of her. Meanwhile, Lilith had already circled around to the other side. He gritted his teeth and looked at her in frustration. She followed up with another sword strike, but he successfully managed to parry it. Mew-sensei watched Wise Vincent's performance with great interest. Cynthia stood nearby, glaring at him with resentment. Can he actually see Lilith's movements? Mew-sensei's sudden remark made her jump. The fact that he can see Lilith's movements doesn't seem to be a matter of luck anymore. On the other side, Wise Vincent frowned, looking around in annoyance. Damn it, what the hell is going on? In the original story, Lilith appeared only as Wise's maid and had almost no screen time. I didn't expect her to be this strong. In terms of magic, she definitely has more to learn, but in terms of speed, she completely surpasses me. and she has quite the talent for swordsmanship, too. I have to get serious or else I'll lose. He began to cast his magic, making the entire area glow brightly. Lily looked at him in startle. This is Yama's creation magic, a technique that allows all allies to recover within a certain range, while simultaneously dealing continuous damage and curses upon those identified as enemies. Should I get out of the magic circle? Yama is currently casting magic with both hands, so he has temporarily let go of his sword. He is in a completely defenseless state. Even now, if I leave the magic circle, for someone who can only do close quarters combat like me, I could be completely vulnerable to magic attacks from within. This is the only chance I must aim for this opening. Lily lunged powerfully toward Wise Vincent. He smirked triumphantly. An invisible wall blocked her attack. Immediately she was blown away. Lily stared at him in daze. She was confused. I was repelled. Wise. Vincent smiled appreciatively. Very good, no holding back at all. He thought smugly indestructible shield by combining the flexibility of Nightbone and the protection of nourishing light, plus the magic I've been using all along, Dark Eye. Even if I can't keep up with Lilith's speed, by using Dark Eye and indestructible shield together, I can defend against all of her attacks, as long as I still have mana. Miu Senshi asked Lilith, "What are you going to do now? Is it over?" She looked at Lilith in confusion. She suddenly shouted, "Hey, Wise, stop the magic circle quickly. Wise." Vincent turned around in surprise. Huh? He was startled to see her rushing toward Lilith. She staggered as if about to fall. She collapsed amidst Wise Vincent's scream. Lily sat leaning against a tree looking at him with admiration. "I am truly impressed by you, Wise-sama." Wise Vincent asked caringly, "Lily, I'm sorry. Are you okay?" Lily and Miu Senshi reassured. "I've already given her an elixir, so she'll be fine." She thought to herself, that's a rare item, you know. She glanced at him. "But hey, Wise, what was that magic just now?" "I know it's a magic that drains stamina, but it's hard to believe that Lilith collapsed in just a few seconds." Cynthia was still feeding Lilith the medicine. "Here, drink some more." Miu Sensei inquired of Wise Vincent, "Are there other effects as well?" He looked at her awkwardly. "Ah well, Nightbone magic. Once an opponent enters the magic circle, physical debility, stamina depletion, mana loss, reduced physical resistance, decreased attack speed, restricted movement, and reduced magic resistance. It inflicts weakening effects on the enemy. Coupled with the fact that Lilith has low mana, she probably ran out of mana and collapsed, right on the spot. By the way, for me, it's the opposite. I can increase my own strength by absorbing all the mana stolen from the enemy. The more enemies in the circle, the stronger I get. And if they are allies, I can also boost their strength." While he was talking non-stop, Wise Vincent suddenly stopped. The whole group stared at him in silence. He suddenly realized, that's right. Is this situation that thing? Is this the time to say that? What is that? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I've already decided what it is, too. When you're reincarnated into another world, everyone dreams of having the coolest catchphrase. I've always wanted to say it. Should I say it now? I should just say it right. He scratched his head helplessly. "I did it." "Quiet," Miu Sensei cut him off. "Fight me, Wise." He peeked at her. He let out a weary sigh, looking at Miu Sensei's angry expression. "To think you've improved this much. It's been a very long time since I've felt this excited. You'll be the one responsible for quenching my excitement with that power, won't you?" Wise Vincent broke into a panicked sweat. He thought contemplatively, and just like that, Cynthia and Lilith ended up joining my training sessions. While enduring Miu Sensei's harsh training every day and being unable to resolve the misunderstanding between the two of them, time passed quickly. Finally, this day has arrived. The whole group stood before the academy gates. Cynthia spoke up. "Let's go inside." Wise Vincent silently assessed his surroundings. The entrance exam, Noblest Magic Academy. At Noblest Magic Academy, this place has the largest campus in the world. It is the top academy in the kingdom, a place that everyone admires. The entrance exam will be held today. Right on the school grounds, someone came over and shouted, "Hey, you idiot, what are you looking at?" "So you were looking, weren't you, you little brat?" He reached out to throw a punch, but suddenly another hand stopped him. "Trying to act tough with me, huh?" The three looked at each other. The atmosphere was tense. It was Wise Vincent. With a cold expression, he glanced at the other guy. The man turned around. "Who the oops?" People around recognized him and exclaimed, "Oh, isn't that guy Wise, huh, Wise? The noble who spends all his time tormenting others." Looking over there, they saw Cynthia as well. The girl with him, is that Lady Cynthia of the Violetta family? Is the engagement story actually true? And who is that beauty bringing a beauty along with him? He truly is no ordinary person. Meanwhile, the man's eyes welled up as he stammered, "The tormenting noble, Lord Wise Vincent." His face remained cold and expressionless. Terrified and unable to stand steady, he begged for mercy. "I'm sorry. Please don't torment me." Wise Vincent sighed wearily. "Who would want to torment you?" Go somewhere else. Hearing that the man vanished instantly, he thought, I've been reincarnated for quite a while now. But Wise's bad reputation is still fully intact. Now the only way is to act friendly, and gradually change everyone's impression of me. 2 years since the training began, and finally this day has arrived. The entrance exam for Noblest Magic Academy. Today I must win against one person, and that person is Alan. He blurted out, thank you. How lucky I'm Alan. You're Wise, right? I hope we can help each other today. Wise. Vincent's face remained somewhat cold. He asked Alan cheerfully, I hope we both pass. His eyes clearly showed his embarrassment. Both of them reached out their hands, but something made him hesitate. The alarm suddenly rang out. Lily called Wise-sama. The bell rang, it's time. Cynthia hurriedly whispered, the exam is about to start. Charlie Elias turned to remind them, Alan, we have to hurry up too. He quickly replied, yeah. She turned back and hesitated. Thanks for helping, Alan. They had only walked a few steps when Alan's voice rang out. Oh, right, where is Duke? She replied, while you were getting into trouble, he went on ahead. Wise Vincent thought, what is this feeling? Just now I hesitated to take his hand. I was only talking to Alan, but for some reason it feels incredibly unpleasant. Just why is that? To be honest, I don't hate Alan at all. That's right. The goal for today's exam is to win. I should maintain a good relationship with him after this, but still keep my distance. The teacher continued, next is the practical combat test. Everyone please change into the uniforms in here. Although they are from previous students, they can help reduce damage from physical and magical attacks. He put on the shirt thinking his heart was wavering. He couldn't suppress this feeling of anger. The three of them. They finished changing, looking forward with cold eyes. I want to crush him. Wise. Vincent's expression looked angry. No, not just him, everyone here. I want to crush them all. Damn it, what's wrong with me? The teacher began to speak as I explained. Before whoever pushes their opponent out of the ring or makes their opponent surrender will be the winner. In addition, if any accidents occur, I will intervene. Does anyone have any questions? A guy raised his hand, me. He said, this uniform is a bit tight. Even if I tell you now, I'm done with it. Duke Billion's expression was just like that too, and it's also quite smelly. The teacher shouted, I told you not now. What are you guys eating to get so big? They're only 15 years old. Wait until you pass, then tell them to make a new set. Just bear with it now, hurry up. Alan cheered from below, go for it, Duke! Lily wondered, but why are there ready-made uniforms for all candidates? It feels like I've already become a student like this. Cynthia replied, I heard many students left their uniforms behind and disappeared. She continued, meaning that life, after enrolling at this academy, is just like hell. Yes, that's exactly right. The toughest education center in the country. Noblest Magic Academy. Those without strength will be expelled immediately. Wise. Vincent thought that surely many people probably didn't want to see this uniform anymore, so they threw it away before leaving here. By the way, admission isn't that difficult. In fact, even a lazy person could still enroll according to the rules. Raindrops began to patter down. The teacher began calling names. Next candidate number 909 Wise Vincent and number 907 Alan. The two of them faced each other once again. Duke Billion whined, Sensei, the rain is getting heavy. He sighed. Fine, it can't be helped. Except for the candidates currently competing. All of you head to the stands. The two of them gripped their swords and took their positions. Outside, people whispered, oh, why isn't it raining here? Alan said happily, I didn't expect my opponent to be you. Please guide me, Wise. A voice echoed from afar. Alan, don't lose. Not to be outdone, go for it, Lord Wise. The referee began to speak. Let the match begin. Before Alan could strike Wise, Vincent moved first. One blow sent him face first into the ground. Blood sputtered from his mouth as he continued to lunge forward to finish it. The match ended quickly. Alan's eyes went wide as his face hit the floor. Charlie. Elias, unable to believe it, put her hand over her mouth. Lilith and Cynthia couldn't help but be shocked as well. The referee cheered very enthusiastically. He muttered, as expected, it's no good. I can't control the urge to crush him. The referee exclaimed, huh? No more. But Wise Vincent said, just now, what was that about? The referee jumped up, huh? This feeling. He even shuddered with pleasure, gritting his teeth. Is it you? Wise. He grabbed Alan's collar and pulled him up to everyone's amazement. After the entrance exam ended, Jin pressed for answers. So what did you two do with Wise? Both Yavis Andon and Miu Avitas remained silent. His voice turned serious. Unbelievable, that candidate Wise Vincent actually broke every record set until now, in every single test. As the ones who raised the boy, I want to know what you two think. Javis Andon spoke slowly, about the terrifying power he possesses. He glanced at Miu Avitas and said nothing. Darius spoke up, Headmaster, I have something to say. It's true that Wise's scores are the highest in the Academy's history, but he didn't actually break any records. Have you forgotten last year's candidate? Oh, that's right. She tied for first place with the boy, didn't she? Miu Avitas hesitated, headmaster regarding Wise. I didn't do anything special with him. At most, it was just basic training that everyone learns. Yavis Andon added, Me too. I only supported him with his meals. His eyes suddenly lit up. I did feed him a lot of protein. Darius wondered, what on earth is protein? He listed them soybeans, milk, fried chicken, stuff like that. Darius slammed the table in anger. Don't mess with us. Besides the 4 basic elements and the light and dark attributes, he even uses ancient magic. How could he learn that just from nonsense like that? Miu Avitas said while drinking something in her hand. Even if you say so. Someone outside shouted, Why is she drinking alcohol again? Darius yelled, Who gave you the nerve to do that in front of the headmaster? And who brought the alcohol for her anyway? He spoke while putting on his coat. It seems she brought it herself here. Jin expressed plainly, Quiet down, Darius. Miu has always been like that. There's nothing strange about it. That would be too cruel to the boy. Alan lay in the rain, blood flowing from his mouth. Alan almost lost his life. It's all because of that brat named Wise. Darius was furious. Alan is my disciple. The boy has extraordinary talent and yet... Miu Avitas spoke up slowly. You still talk big like that even though we're... on the battlefield. Why, your jealousy is truly pathetic. Just because he lost a serious match, you're taking your anger out on all of us. He yelled, You! Darius complained, Hey Miu, if you had trained him from the start, this wouldn't have... Hearing that Yavis Andon immediately stopped them. Enough. Both of you stop it. Yavis Andon said seriously, Headmaster. It seems you are worried about admitting Yama, but please rest assured, Yama would never use that power to torment the weak. He has changed. He has put in endless effort to become a strong and resilient person. Lilith and Cynthia were both happy to receive their admission letters. Scene change. Listen up, everyone. First of all, congratulations to all of you on your successful enrollment. Chloe introduced herself. I am Chloe, and I will be in charge of this class. I look forward to working with you all from now on. At this moment, everyone's face looked bewildered. Welcome to Noblisi Magic Academy. Wise. Vincent glanced over and saw Alan. He thought, that day I defeated Alan. At that time, I was swept away by the emotions of Wise, even though I nearly killed him. He still stood back up. No matter how many times he fell, and every single time, he became stronger than before. Although in the end, I won overwhelmingly, it took quite a long time to bring him down. He thought to himself angrily, Damn it! It's as if I just witnessed the aura of a protagonist. Suddenly, Wise Vincent's hand began to glow. He said, What are you talking about? My hand is glowing. The teacher said, Each of you will be granted 1,000 points. Everyone stirred. Huh, what points? What does that mean? Chloe continued, This point total is a measurement system that will follow you until graduation. Currently, everyone is granted 1,000 points. But specifically for Wise Vincent, based on your exam results, you will be granted 2,000 points. The whole class went into an uproar. 2,000 points. Are you kidding? What's the deal with this, sensei? This is basically a leaderboard, isn't it? But doubling his points, isn't that way too unfair? In the end, what are these points even for? Give us a proper explanation, sensei. With a cold, expressionless face, Chloe said instead of empty words, it would be easier for you to understand by experiencing it directly. Wise Vincent was surprised. Chloe said, Everyone grab your wooden swords and head to the training ground immediately. Hearing that everyone grew fearful, she said, Right now, we will begin the practical combat test. Earlier, I congratulated you on your successful enrollment, but I never said that you would safely graduate. Surely you've already guessed part of it. If anyone's score drops to 0, that person will be expelled immediately. Duppy was stunned. Chloe continued, Oh, that's right. Today you will duel each other until someone loses all their points. Miu Avitas was drinking, looking very bored, since little Wise left. Every day has been boring to death. Well, I might as well kill some time. Let's go get a teacher's certificate at Noblisi Magic Academy. Now a storm is about to hit. Louis Sen walked over and exclaimed, You're Wise, Vincent. Aren't you? I'm Louis. I saw your exam. It was very impressive. I heard you even achieved the highest score in history. The three of them watched, not understanding what was happening. Louis' mission gave off a do not approach aura. He is a handsome, bright, and sociable character. In the original work, he was one of the top students, with excellent academic achievements and superior potential. A Louis that should have been like that, yet he collapsed on the floor. Louis gasped out, Can't hear clearly, Louis' mission. Dropped out, blood streaming profusely from his nose, having just been defeated by Alan. At mealtime, Wise Vincent stepped out from the dining hall, placing the tray down on the table. He thought, Damn it, what should I do now? I intended to try and follow the original story and exercise restraint, not taking any unnecessary actions other than defeating Alan, but currently, somehow the heroine has become my fiancé. Lewis was supposed to stay until graduation, but had to leave on the very first day of school. Everything is gradually spinning out of control. There is another unexpected matter. The negative emotions of the original Wise inside of me are aiming at Alan and everyone around me. He is commanding me to become aggressive. Clearly, I want to be friendly, thereby gradually gaining everyone's trust, but I cannot suppress the urge to crush them. If I let these emotions take control and end up hurting everyone, then I will become the original Wise. He closed his eyes tight and looked up at the ceiling. Looking down, the food was suddenly gone. Since when did you want to crush them all? Cynthia said, that's fine too if that is what Wise wants. Wise. Vincent was dazed. She went to the chef to say thanks. Thank you for the meal, he replied. It was nothing. He turned and asked, hey, Cynthia, don't you have any reaction? Even though I said such things, she explained, this is Noblesse Magic Academy, isn't it? Isn't it? He was bewildered. Cynthia said, actually, I was very worried that day, because you were too kind. In this eat or be eaten world, if you keep showing pity to your opponents, you won't be able to survive. Right. But after witnessing your performance, during the exam, I had to see you in a different light, Wise. He remained silent, lost in thought. The chef said, my lady, there is still plenty of boss alfu left. Would you like some more? She turned around blankly, huh? Oh no, I'm full, Lilith added, Wise-sama. I think so too. The world out there is very cruel. Once committed, we are forced to learn how to be ruthless. But after all, Wise-sama, doing things your way is still the best. I will support any decision you make. Yes. Wise was about to say something, but stopped. The chef continued to ask, my lady, are you still feeling hungry? There is still a lot of boss alfu left, you know. She said, no, I'm full already. Cynthia patted his shoulder. As my fiancé, you must have the mindset to be ready to crush any opponent. Wise cheered up. Cynthia, thank you both so much. Thanks to you two, I have learned many valuable things. Though I don't know if I can be decisive immediately, I'm lucky to have talked with you both. Lilith said, that's right, Wise-sama. If you cannot decide for yourself, then please try using this coin. Wise Vincent slowly began to realize. I see. Leaving it to fate is fine too. The plot is already half broken and half shattered anyway. If I don't know what the future holds, well then it's better to stop overthinking. Just do what my heart desires. Suddenly the chef started crying. He shook him so hard that the coin popped out. I worked so hard to cook this, you must eat it all. A coin flew out quite a distance. Then it slowly slowed down while everyone watched in anticipation. The front was the kingdom's castle. The back was a dragon's head, the symbol of power. If it lands on the front, I will fight the original Wise to escape the death flag and try to become friends with Alan. And otherwise, the coin stopped at someone's feet. He then picked it up, then approached and handed it to Wise Vincent. He whispered, Wise, you drop this. Seeing the coin in Alan's hand, Alan said cheerfully, Greetings. It's a bit late for this, isn't it? As everyone can see, I have also enrolled. Even though I got beaten to a pulp, it's great because I wanted to see you again. Actually, I want a rematch to be more precise. A faint smile played on his lips as he took the coin from his hand. It was tails. Wise Vincent gave a devious smile. Same here, Alan. The two looked at each other as if they were about to engage in a decisive battle. Dubilion asked, any boss alfu left scene changes to the battle arena? He, or rather, one of the students he had sent flying outside. The smile slowly became clearer within him. Choloi said, that's enough. The coin count hit 0. Chris logo expelled. The sky at this moment was silent. Another person stepped forward. But before long, they were defeated by him. His smile and demeanor remained unchanged. The announcement bell rang. Gustai Gregorio expelled. The sound of rustling leaves. Raman Kutabi Reta expelled. Karuna Kinnick expelled. Mr. Name is expelled. Oh boy, I thought it was a skull. Expelled. Cynthia said, Wise is amazing. Lilith chimed in. Young Master has already sent 6 opponents out of the school. Wise Vincent said, Cynthia. Lilith, the two of you split up and lure the enemies out. Wise. Vincent gave a strange laugh and whispered, I have to thank you, Alan. Thanks to you, I'm no longer hesitating. Cynthia blocked her path. Lilith was not to be outdone. She used her blade to slash at the enemy. I will crush you head on. Along with this rotten plot, at Kata Violet School, she sat sadly in her room. Recalling the scene at that time, she thought, Kurota, even without me, you have to do your best. Reaching her limit, she burst into tears. Someone please save me. Just a little more and she would be expelled. What would become of her future? The flag was lowered. Birds circled in the sky. That was the moment the battle ended. The referee announced that Team Wise was victorious. He was still standing firm, while Alan sat defeated, crawling on the ground. The two stared at each other with daggers in their eyes. The timid Kata Violet was holding a scepter. Wise. Vincent is running away because someone is chasing him from behind. A month has passed since the enrollment. As of now, 10 students have been expelled. 7 of them were sent home by my own hands, and among them, recalling what I have done, he was secretly pleased with himself. The academy students stood in front of the bulletin board, discussing the defensive magic course, the mind detection magic course, the stealth magic course. The valedictorian in all of them was Wise Vincent. Across all the different fields, he watched them as they spoke. Suddenly, Devilish walked up and spat out insults. Is this your second life or something? To become this strong Wise? Just what kind of hellish training did you do? The more he spoke, the more heated he got about his exam performance. You passed through the magic barrier as if it were nothing, Saren noted, like walking through thin air. And in yesterday's Capture the Flag match, too, seizing the flag in an instant, and crushing Alan in a heartbeat. Looking at the score in his hand, Devilish grew even more furious. Top of the class with an overwhelming score. Because of that, you have as many as 700 points. How much experience have you accumulated? From your past life, huh? Just what? Saren cut in. Be quiet, Dub, you're too noisy. Here was Alan putting on a pitiful face. I lost to Wise again. Sorry, you two. Both sides glared at each other with hostility. She comforted him, we'll win next time. Don't worry, Alan. And Wise Vincent reflected on the troubles caused by the previous owner of this body, and that was exactly what made him isolated by everyone, leading to his eventual self-destruction. The reason was, he used to pour all his negative emotions into the most foolish and unbearable acts, so there's no reason for others to hate me now. I haven't done anything yet to make myself feel guilty, dealing with those emotions through fair matches. But as for the current me, so please don't stare at me like that, Saren. Time passed until this class began. Mia entered. Wise Vincent glanced over. She slowly approached Kata Violet's seat. With an emphasized voice, do you understand if you don't score any points? In the next practical combat test, then Kata... Hearing this, she became soulless. Yes, I'm fine. But Wise Vincent's eyes never stopped observing her. The teacher left, leaving behind a remark. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. I wasn't asking if you were fine or not. He glanced at Kata Violet, mentally shuffling through the plot. She would have encouraged her best friend, aiming for graduation. And because of that, she was originally supposed to be expelled after the next test. In principle, according to the side story script, that was it. He began to feel tense again, so it means after this incident, it still caused her best friend to be expelled, even though it was originally a fair match. As Wise Vincent fell into deep thought, school ended. She dejectedly walked out alone. Unkind rumors about her began to spread. Someone teased her. Do you have any plans for the next test yet? Does Kata have a teammate yet? It's a game of tag, you know. So many questions directed at Kata Violet. Words that left her only able to remain silent. She got expelled too, right? That annoying best friend of yours? But Wise Vincent slowly approached. Those schoolgirls still wouldn't stop laughing and joking. How could anyone lose all their points in a single match? Seriously, oh my god. She was completely crushed by that Wise guy. That girl's final match was freaking hilarious. The two of them stopped and jumped in surprise as he moved toward her. Oh, Wise. He extended his hand, inviting her for the next test. Would you like to team up with me? Time flew by. Wise Vincent and Kata Violet stood together on a cliffside. Surprised, she spoke up, asking the questions hidden in her heart. Why would you want to team up with someone like me? Wise-kun, Qatar. Violet became shy, her voice fading away. Besides, you also have Cynthia. I don't think we are a good match for a team at all. I mean, I'm on the verge of being expelled. And you're one of the top students in the class. Before she could finish, Qatar. Violet felt an overwhelming murderous intent. Boom. Boom right behind her back. She immediately turned her head to look. Wise Vincent saw the panic in her mind. Because he saw her state, he asked with a hint of concern, What's wrong, Qatar? Then there's no need to worry. Are you worried about my fiancée? She will understand that teaming up with another girl is just a means to achieve victory. Cynthia wants me to be ranked first in the academy, he explained. Qatar Violet pointed behind him. But that murderous intent just now, no. Wise. Vincent didn't listen to her and turned his back. Listen, Qatar, I don't have the time, or the energy, to feel pity for every student who gets expelled. I have no intention of helping you or anything. But Wise Vincent began to pour his heart out. It would be a great waste if you were forced to leave. But Qatar, she didn't hear a single word because of her uneasy state of mind. Was it just my imagination? Is she not there? However, Wise Vincent clearly stated the reason for choosing her. Your flight magic is quite remarkable. So I think it would be a waste if someone with such talent were to be overshadowed. Even for a skilled mage, that spell is still something very difficult to master. He spoke incessantly. I believe that teaming up with you would be the most optimal plan. Qatar Violet lost focus and started searching around. She was definitely here just a moment ago. There's no way I could have imagined it. A voice woke Qatar Violet up. Because of your skills? Qatar Violet saw Cynthia standing behind a large tree. She smiled with a gentle voice, yet it made her freeze. Impressive perception skills, my. I wonder if your perception can surpass then Wise's dark vision, right? Furthermore, she can even sense faint magical traces that even Wise cannot detect. Cynthia rested her chin on her hand, evaluating. The one who has mastered all assassination techniques. It seems she still hasn't sensed Lilith, but she stepped out, making her start to panic. Lilith spoke in a cold voice. Perhaps the upcoming test will be for all 3 grades of the academy. She began to analyze, instead of me and Cynthia-sama, those who can fight head-on with the upperclassmen, and at the same time Wise-sama seems to have devised a strategy leading to victory by teaming up with you, someone with a special ability. So feel free to team up with Wise-sama, okay? Lilith approached her closely while speaking. Cynthia pressed close on the other side. I will team up with Lilith. Both whispered into her ear, little Qatar. On another side, Wise Vincent was still talking. He turned his head to look at Qatar Violet. I have decided to team up with you. Therefore, we will begin special training today. We don't have much time left. Before the exam, he gave instructions to prepare for the upcoming test. My special training with Qatar begins, and just like that. Why are you crying, Wise? Vincent saw her eyes filled with tears and showed concern. The two were training and chatting at the same time. He was bruised and battered, saying flight magic. I've roughly grasped the basics. It really is a bit difficult to master. But she shyly exposed him. No way you can't even stay in the air for more than 2 seconds. Wise Vincent admitted. Right now, that's probably true. Qatar Violet comforted him. So you don't really need to learn it. Besides, the original plan was for me to carry you while flying. He reached up to scratch his cheek. But I think this is a good opportunity to learn it. But Wise Vincent explained, any magic can become a powerful trump card, depending on how you use it. It's not like you'd lose anything by learning. I happen to have a teacher specialized in flight magic, right here named Qatar. And right now, I'm sorry to bother you. Originally, this isn't even related to the test, so I was wondering if she could teach me a little. I definitely won't let you be expelled. But in return, during tomorrow's test, he made a request to her. Wise Vincent's words caught Qatar Violet by surprise. Could you occasionally help me? Train in flight magic. So after the test, she began to think about the rumors and suddenly burst out laughing. All right then, Wise-kun. Then I'm willing to help if you're okay with me. Both of them moved back toward the school. Mia watched the two figures outside the door, then turned back to speak with Jean. He was calculating. Wise. Vincent's scores are truly unbelievable. For a junior student, not to mention that more than half of the students expelled were taken down by that boy himself. The teacher replied respectfully. Yes. Mia continued to express her impressions to make him understand. But other students of this grade are also very capable. Wise is indeed very talented. The teacher recalled Alan's appearance and praised him. The one who surprised me most is Darius's student, Alan. He constantly pulls himself back from the brink of failure, time after time. And each time he becomes even stronger. Mia recalled Alan's resilience. Then the teacher continued. That's not all. 2 other students also surprised me immensely. Lilith and Cynthia. Those 2 students have matured at an unimaginable speed compared to when they first enrolled. Those 2 train as if they're placing their lives on a thin thread. Hearing the evaluation of the 2 girls, the teacher remembered their combat scene with only a single layer of protective gear. They even engaged in dangerous combat practice, using real swords instead of wooden ones. And that risky way of training without regard for life or death, that was what Mia observed. Finally, the teacher reached a conclusion. It had made them incredibly powerful. After the battle ended, the 2 of them used healing magic on each other. Cynthia praised, You did very well, Lilith. She replied politely, Not at all, Cynthia-sama. You are the strong one. She revealed her determination. I will definitely become even stronger. Lilith, I want to stand by Wise's side as an equal. Not just someone who follows behind, but as a strong and capable individual. She agreed and immediately reached out her arm. I want to become stronger for Wise-sama's sake. Me too. Lilith imagined herself protecting him. That's why I also want to grow stronger. Much, much stronger. When he is in danger. I want to be the one he can rely on. Cynthia gave a gentle smile. You're already very good, aren't you? She stammered. No, I'm not on your level yet, Cynthia-sama. The 2 began to use a dangerous tone. For the time being, that is. Regardless, the 2 girls shared a common goal in their minds, to make that little brat stay away from Wise as much as possible. Right, our target lies elsewhere. Qatar Violet felt a chill. Why do I suddenly feel shivers down my spine? All the students became excited. Everyone gathered together. And then the day of the test arrived. Lord Billy and Alan and Saren were chatting together. He spoke up first. All right, it's time to leave it to fate with a game of rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses will have to pair up with a stranger. Just one round, no hard feelings, okay, got it? He agreed. She complained that it's always such a fuss every time. Wise Vincent and Qatar Violet walked past the three of them. The two of them moved into their match positions together. Mia began the announcement. Now the next pair will be teleported to Mount Gario. 3, 2, 1. He and she were whisked away. Wise Vincent expressed, all right, as we discussed, we will target the upperclassman with the most points and take him down. But Wise Vincent became competitive. Are you ready, Qatar? Mia announced to all the students. You have all been teleported to preset coordinates, scattered across the mountain. From this moment on, the battle between the three grades, the tag match, begins. Upon hearing this, every team became filled with determination. With one final slogan, it started. Everyone began to branch out and fight. In another place, Levi was lying down enjoying the beach. First, she was pondering many things. I've been trying a few things these past few days, but I can't even remember what I was actually planning to do. Levi snapped out of it with an excited look. That's it. I was planning to get a teaching certificate at the Noblisi Magic Academy.